So the question I would ask is to Mike when it comes to this key is, it sounds like there's 4 words that goes into this key. What are those 4 words that go into this key? Hey, you muted, man. Mike. Well, you muted.
Yeah, I know that. That's why I was doing that.
I know. That's what added the hilarious.
They put it in the chat.
So we're talking about running the damn ball. Okay. Yes.
Exactly. No. Like that, Mike over here. I had to try to get my mime on. I tried to mime, and I ended up voguing instead, and it looked awkward as hell. But yeah, Mike, is that kind of how you feel? Like what is your idea of controlling the tempo? What is your
Falcons
idea?
Football. The great Tony Dungy said when he was first hired as the head coach, run your style. Don't try to be nobody else. Don't try to be Bill Belichick. Don't try to be Tony Dungy. Do what you do and run your offense. And when it comes down to it, we know what Arthur Smith is. He's not one of them prissy offensive coordinators that's going to throw the ball 40, 50 times in the game. He can care less about that type of stuff. He wants balance. He wants the team to be tough. He wants these to be aggressive, which is why I said earlier, granted that Marcus Mariota could have, been a little bit more, I guess less aggressive, but at the end of the day, I totally agree with him. You want guys that you can kind of rein in a bit versus trying to get people amped up and play to a certain level. I want guys that I can already get that's already hyped. They already know what they want. So at the end of the day, like I said, you can go back to the drawing board and say, hey, man, look. And as a play caller, he can sort of do things to kind of, calm him down. Don't give him as much to do as a quarterback. Get the ball out of his hand quick, throw some screens, swing passes out of the backfield. So you can do things as a play caller to kind of calm your quarterback down in certain situations. So, like I said, run the damn balls will come to mind. We talk about controlling the tempo. Do you? How about that? Just do you.
We definitely appreciate that, man. So we're going to go ahead and get into our next key to victory. We're going to get Mad Mike's sports key to victory, and I think y'all going to like this one in particular. The floor is yours, Mike. What you got for him?
Well, if you've been in our spaces, always, instead of telling you guys to be a little bit more graphic, and I always draw a circle and I turn and I cut that circle in half. Basically what that means, if you go and look at a pass rush, you got 4 defensive linemen. All right, you got a circle. You always want to rush with your edges going first. You know what I'm saying? The edges guys, whether it's Grady Jarrett, Khythekid, Carter, those guys, you want them getting up the field quick, fast as possible. And I don't need you doing jumping jacks like Mr. Dante Fowler. Stay in your lane. Don't do all that cross chopping and spinning and all. Look, all that stuff look good, but that drives coaches crazy because they want discipline. They want you to be quick up the field, discipline, and keep that contained. Because quarterbacks at any given time while you're trying to spin, they come back your way. They cut you in a spin. Well, they got outside. Again, this is why I say cut a circle in half, and you kind of get a picture, right? The edges, and then you got a defensive tackle right here, and you got the other defensive tackle. So you always want to rush constantly. So if a guy end up getting pressure up the middle, or you get pressure On the edges, the quarterback has to step up. Guess what? He's gonna run into Grady Jarrett, or he's gonna run into Anthony Russ. So that's how visually. That's what we always. That's why I always teach. I have circle. You always want your defensive line to rush as a cohesive unit, so they have nowhere to escape. It's all, like I said, it's all. When you talk about a pass rush, you can't have one guy just going out and doing the Dwight Freeney spin move. That spin move is good, but again, it drives defensive coaches crazy because not always have your eye on the target. Pass rush is all about seeing and going to get no wasted movement. So this is what you saw with the Atlanta Falcons. So pass rush discipline, keep that pocket, your edges, get upfield. Not a lot of jumping around. So if you see y'all defensive linemen doing all that spinning, jumping, and kicking, karate, look, that's not what you want at defensive line. You want these guys to get upfield, get after the quarterback, hold contain, so Grady Jarrett, Anthony Russ can finish it up. Or like we saw with Michael Walker, that's how Michael Walker got that sack. Again, keep that contained. Keep your lane so everybody else can make a play. So with that being said, you talk about pass rush discipline. I think this is most important because of one guy. And I think we all know this guy. The quarterback. He can make some things happen with his arm, but he's not very mobile. So you don't want to get too cocky and saying, all right, he's going to be there. He's not mobile like Jameis. He's not mobile like Marcus. You want to be disciplined in your pass rush. You discipline your pass rush, you're going to get to Matthew Stafford. And I think that's the most important aspect of this game. Don't get too cocky. Have a disciplined pass rush. Don't do too much because you got a guy that you feel in your head. He's just going to be there and we're going to get to him. Discipline. That's what I need from our front four, our front seven. A disciplined pass rush. Don't do too much, and just do your damn job. Alec Baldwin in the movie is I forgot the name, but it was Alec Baldwin who had that.
I ain't never seen the movie, Mike, but I heard somebody say the quote, and I was like, I'm gonna use that tonight because that's what needs to be our new slogan. Always be closing. If you protect the ball, if you do the stuff you're supposed to do, like I always talk about those 1 to 2 plays in the game that win or lose you the game. If you do what you're supposed to do early in the game, like think about it. If we go back to the fumble Marcus Mariota, we lost the game by 1 point. Even if you get a field goal in that drive, you win by 2. Always be closing.
What's your take on that, man? What's your take? I don't know if you said anything on how you feel about that.
No, like I said, I agree for the most part. I'll just say this too. I think people forget, and I want to kind of bring this up, and then people gonna, they're gonna probably have a flashback like them, like those people in World War III and Vietnam, dude. When I say this, but this is one of the reasons why Matt Ryan, you got to understand that like Matt Ryan didn't make mental mistakes. There's one thing about him, he never made mental mistakes. He may have made bad throws, but when it comes down to mental mistakes, he knew everybody's job. He knew his job. He knew the offensive line job. He knew the running back. He knew the coaching. He knew all that type of stuff. So we never had mental mistakes. But if you go back to the Michael Vick days, we had a ton of mental mistakes because a lot of these guys are playing on, I like to say that parent, you know how Mick Foley would say testicular fortitude? Mm-hmm. That's how a lot of players are just playing. It's just testicular fortitude. I know I can beat you. You can't touch me. And then you have that attitude, you end up making mistakes. That's how Michael Vick was early in the Vick days. He knew he was better, faster, quicker. He could get around this edge. But yeah, he did it. But you got guys that was fundamentally sound, and they would knock the ball out. They would wait for him to get to a certain spot, and then they would surround him. So it's like when you play with that edge, instead of actually, thinking things through, it's just like, all right, let me get this first down, and then I'm gonna run out of bounds. Let me get this first down, give me just 10 yards, so we can 10 yards on third down, just get the first down, and then we're gonna slow it down and eat up some clock. Those are the types of things that we talk about closing, that goes into closing. You gotta have those things, and I think that's one of the things that really killed the Falcons, is not so much Dean Pease. Like I said, like even myself, I was like, all right, he should have been a little bit more aggressive. But when I went back and looked at it, he was aggressive. The thing is, those guys got tired because they were super aggressive in the first half. And like you were saying about Dunn, if you do the things in the first half that you did, and if you did the things you did in the first half and the second half, you don't have to worry about it. They weren't making a lot of, they didn't have turnovers in the first half. They got turns in the second half. That's what ultimately, you got to take care of the ball in the first and the second half as well.
Right here.